I'm a teenager. Look at my lip quiver like the internet. I wrote a letter to my television. It said, "Why did you murder my history?" It said, "Stop touching me, please." I've got a baby blue Honda full of morals. I made it myself out of cigarettes. But you don't give a shit about that. You only want to talk about my nipples. That's a cover by a man named Brian Ellis from the White House Family Record. It's called Decade. I'm called Eric Haygun. It's the year of the mouth trumpet, whether we like it or not. The reality of being at the YMCA fitness center locker room where I work and throw cheap seats once a month is less fun than the village people led me to believe. Maybe if there were more costumes. Instead, everybody just looks like what they are. The businessman on lunch break with the same underwear as the recovering junkie who lives upstairs. And that one guy who takes a special advantage of the socially sanctioned locker room nudity. I have not once seen him with an actual towel. Instead, he uses individual paper napkins to methodically remove each droplet of moisture from his sagging, translucent skin, with one leg up on the bench next to me, watching muted TV news. I can't help but stare at his comfort. I still dry off inside the shower, slip on my fanciest underwear with the towel still around my waist. I imagine that when all of my tattoos are visible at once, it might be difficult to envision the quiver in my skin each time that it comes crawling back to me, heavy as high school. Maybe it was an obligatory game of meat. Maybe the biological rivalry wired between even friends. Somewhere in life, I was advised this body a bad investment, but here, drunk on adrenaline and whiskey and new people. Hey, Dawn. We're just talking about the why, being drunk on adrenaline.
I haven't been there.
It's okay.
But you know, you've booked so many awesome people there.
Thank you.
Yeah, have a great show there.
We are in the middle of a thing, though, so I'm going to just jump back into it, and then we'll say
Come on in.
Drunk on adrenaline, bringing electricity from all of my salt, churning a new sense of capable out of thick air, my eyes level with his neck on the treadmill in front of me, the lunge in my blood, faster than bulletproof. There is no physical violence that his world can visit upon me, the man who has made a home of my nightmare cannot outrun me. The last lover who left did not break me. I am burning myself stainless internally, and this man stands here so easy, bending over with his back turned, like the possibility of violation has never even crossed his mind. At the mirrors, he asks if my piercing hurt while I wet the razor. Like most rituals of manhood, I taught myself to shave on the internet. And as he fastens a half Windsor knot effortlessly, like a silk diagram looping itself along the dotted line, I am once again fixating on his throat, cursing my own crooked fingers that wrinkle the fabric over and over again, never satisfied, lopsided, tightening around my neck. When I'm not working at the YMCA as a freelance audiovisual engineer or doing poetry, I work at a place, also right, and so much of my life revolves around Central Square. I work at a rape crisis center, the Boston area rape crisis center, around the corner on Bishop Allen Road. Sorry, I usually change before the show, but we didn't really have a lot of time. So imagine this was dramatic. So I do that. I'm a freelance audiovisual engineer, and I do workshops at the Rape Crisis Center. And a little while ago, as an audiovisual engineer, I went on tour with an outfit called the Harlem Globetrotters, a basketball team. And this poem, as soon as I can get the corset on, because we really can't do the poem without the corset. It's just fucking stupid. Got all these extra words.
The Gregory corset.
Actually, this corset, it is tough to do the corset. Some of the loops are bent. This corset at one time belonged to Brian Viglione of the Dresden Dolls.
Oh my god.
Yeah, it was the first live sound gig I ever did, and they left this thing behind, and I did not do my best to get it back to them. and that's the story. Hold on, gotta just tune up real quick. Oh shit. Gotta tune the instrument. In the workshops that I facilitate for high school students, I tell them the importance of being a good bystander. I tell them the incident of Kitty Genovese, 1964, stabbed and raped repeatedly in a parking lot, while an entire building of witnesses did not know it was their problem. I do not tell them why I volunteer to tell them this. In conversations with men I work for, I do not tell them there are words I will never tell anyone. If you, Kara, are unfamiliar with the idiom no homo,
Yeah.
I will be the one to tell you that what began as some dumb shit a rapper said has evolved into an elaborate game of monitoring peer behavior through the lens of homosexuality, claiming a pat on the back of the head, simulating a blowjob each time the disclaimer is not spoken. I tell my coworkers that for straight guys, they think about gay sex like really a lot. I do not tell them every fact I know about violence. I tell them cities that I've lived in, reasons I've been arrested. In this telling, I do not explain whoever I kiss. I call myself queer. I tell them that I simply opt out of their game. When footage of the word faggot falling from Kobe Bryant's lips comes on television at work one day, the reaction is not as bad as I expect, but it's not any better. And I tell them nothing. I do not tell them how the point isn't Kobe's temper, or the referee's feelings, or the price of the penalty. I do not tell them the moral equivalency of a white player and a different slur. I do not tell them that I believe this is all related. I tell them nothing. Nothing I tell them will help. I tell adolescent reflections of myself that their actions directly impact the community that we share. I tell them that all assault affects each of us, and it is never only their responsibility in this telling. I do not address questions that this room does not need to know my answer for. I do not tell them the right to unspeak from personal experience. I do not tell them how often I am a staggering coward. A couple of months ago, I had the opportunity to host an event called the International Noise Conference at my house where I live, which is a White House Family Record in Jamaica Plain. And it was a wonderful, amazing event, and so many awesome performers came through. But there was also, we were really worried about the cops coming and trying to shut us down, and that was like where we were like preparing ourselves to deal with. What we weren't prepared for was this like really aggressive, combative element purporting to be from within the community, like smashing stuff and yelling at people and bleeding all over, wiping blood all over my upstairs bathroom, and like, you know, we had to ask them several times to calm down. And at the end of the night, one of these people like pushed me up against the wall while it was dark in the basement, and put his hands in my pants and grabbed me. And I don't tell you this to like make you feel sad and bum you out. I tell you it because it's really important to me to say that out loud and say what that is and own that in a public setting. And what I'd like to do is I'd like to do the poem that I did that night, which is a cover poem. I've done 2 covers tonight. This one is by a man named POS, who's a rapper from Minneapolis. And it's called Arrow to the Action. And I think I'd like to do a field trip. Is anybody, would you be willing to do that?
Let's
Not
do a
very
field
long.
trip.
Now that I'm here, yes.
We're going to go to a field trip, guys. Come on. Oh, wow. We're going to go to it. The poem is called Arrow to the Action. You have to lock up and everything?
I just have to lock when there's no one here. So I'm last out and first in, but that's it.
The poem is called Arrow to the Action. And you can find me following my arrow to the action. I'm the arrow, you're the action. And we're going to take a little field trip now as soon as Angela locks the door.
All set.
You can find me following my arrow to the action. You can find me following my arrow to the action. You can find me following my arrow to the action. Last night, I was here, I was working at the YMCA Theater, which is in this next building, the next block up. And I'm not usually one to forget stuff like this, but I left my backpack with all my laptop and all of my like personal belongings. The backpack has been with me all over the United States, in every state, Canada, Europe, and I left it on the front seat, which I never do. And someone smashed my windshield, my passenger side window. Really trying to like understand how that feels for me, and I don't want anyone to feel bad for me. I'm being completely honest with you. If you added up all of the things that I've stolen in my life, it would total more than that laptop. And I'm sure that the person who did that did it out of desperation and necessity in their mind, whatever they think. But I need to offer something to this spot right here. This is where it happened. This is the glass from my window. Right here.
Whoa.
I've saved some of it from my car. That's part of it. I just like to. You don't have to take it if you want to. It won't cut you. I've selected pieces that aren't
Laminated safety glass.
Yeah, safety.
Thank you.
It's supposed to break and not fall apart, but that's not what happened. Let's shake the pavement. Let's rock. Get your hands up, all out, right now. Let's go. Let's take the basement. I got bolt cutters in my back pocket. I got the White House Family Record and the tape deck. Let's race the vacant. Let's win. Let's bet it all. Tell them off. Tell them all. There's no need to fake it. We see right through. We see right through the fucking fake Facebook profile, internet, Facebook monsters trying to act like their violence is shocking. The fucking fascist police officers trying to shut down my lifestyle. Motherfuckers trying to steal my laptop like that's gonna slow down my traction. Fuck that distraction. You can find me following my arrow to the action. Double buck knife, straight stabbing. Fuck the smashing and the grabbing. Handling the assholes and laughing. They passive, I'm past it. Let's leave them shaking. Easy as an earthquake. See if they can reason with the murder rate. Fight like treason was a birthright. Verses of the worst to the constantly first place. Get 'em. Shake the pavement, big stump, hands up, all out right now. Let's go. Let's take back the basement. I got bolt cutters in my back pocket. I got Central Square in my tape deck. No hesitation. Heavy disobedience. Ease above the median. And just do you. There is no need to fake it. We see right through.
Wow, that's dope.
Woo!
Dope, thanks. Dope.
Central Square. What's up with Central Square?
Yeah, you got it.
Yeah, my dude.
Dope.
Can we get a little, can we clap it out?
Woo!
A little clap top.
All right.
Clap hop for the laptop. Let's go.
Yeah.
Come on.
Who else see that? Who else see
This is all I'm ever gonna need. This is all I'm ever gonna need. This is the only mouth I feed. The piece of me always packed to leave. My cross, creed, my thesis, my steed. This is all I ever wanted to know. The road took me to having to hold down a rabbit hole. Now I inhabit the flow, the river, the stone, the blood, the show. The hardest part's not waking up alone. Still feeling empty even though you wrote the poem. It's reaching the end of the road and knowing you don't have to stay here, but you can't go home. This is all I'm ever gonna need. This is the only mouth I feed. The piece of me always packed to leave. Cross, creed, my thesis, my steed. This is all I ever wanted to know. The road took me to having to hold down a rabbit hole. Now I inhabit the flow, the river, the stone, the blood, the show.
Woo! Oh yeah.
We're gonna do one more. We're gonna go back inside. Are we all feeling crazy?
Yeah.
I feel crazy. Yeah. I hope that's what you said. That's what I do. We can go back inside. Field trip for weirdo. Gotta do a field trip for weirdo. Weirdo field trip.
I'll show you.
I would love to do that. Have a souvenir.
One more?
Yeah.
You got it, right?
See that red? There you go. I'll get this one. Oops, sorry.
This is the last poem I'm gonna do. It's on the White House Family Sampler album LP, which I'm sure is in this building somewhere.
It is.
Here. The poem is called "Get Closer," and I guess it's for a specific person who one time I was at an open mic at the Cantab open mic, also in Central Square. You can't have open mic. One time someone, I was like really, I don't know if I've given you this impression, but I'm an intense individual. I was right up front at the show, and I was like really excited, and someone asked me to sit down. So I wrote a poem about my feelings about that. Open letter to the bro. Probably a guy who stole my laptop. Who came late to the show, complaining the crowd is packed ass to elbows, and then he had the audacity to ask me to stand aside so he could see from the back seat, and I said, please! This ain't a TV screen. This is a freestyle reality, and I mean, I ain't saying that I belong here more than you, but dude, you gotta move if you want a good view. Get closer. This ain't the line to the bathroom. I want you to climb over me if you have to. Get closer. I paid the cover like everyone else. This is the only place I love myself. I've got my health and not much else, so you'll forgive me, friend, but I ain't buying what you're trying to sell. You're trying to tell me this is an art form to sit down for, be quietly heartwarmed. I get to the point, quick as a dartboard, and plenty of time to run my mouth parkour, so come to the front row. Hang up your cell phone. Seriously. It is distracting, and you are likely not that important. Tell your mom you love her, because you might not get home. Just let go, like an amplified dial tone, louder than my self-loathing when I'm alone. I get close, because I need you to know I care. Alienated, this is all I have to share, and some might say it's unsafe to just bum rush the stage, come what may, but I'll tell you what, I'll be the first to pick you up. The first person concerned you drink too much, close enough to say your attitude sucks, and maybe you ain't racist, but you say some racist stuff. Trust, I've put my foot in my mouth too, but there'd be no reason to get it out without you. Weirdo Records, I'm talking about you. Completely serious now, like I've got something to prove, because I do, not to you, but to whatever saving grace brought me to this room. Behold, the miracle of the show. It could blow, or it could be the most truth you've ever been told. It's with me everywhere I go, from the bottom of my yes to the top of my no! I refuse to stay composed, and I ain't afraid to step on toes, so get closer. Let it ruin your best clothes, let it mean something, let it wreck your home. Get closer, like a man possessed, dancing like he's blessed, even if Mayor of Brotown ain't impressed.